Today is Wednesday, March the 18th. My name is Tom, and this is your ReadyCore Daily Brief. Today, in Triage, you don't guess, you scan. We'll get to that in a minute. First, let's get you up to speed with the latest from the Reassess team and the Daily Sit Rep.
This is your AmCon Daily Sit Rep for March the 18th, 2026. Up first today, a growing concern nationwide about how debit card fraud can occur without physically using the card. Criminals are exploiting digital vulnerabilities, such as breaches of third-party vendors, automated number guessing attacks, and weaknesses in payment processors. To protect yourself, it is advised to cancel compromised cards immediately, request new numbers, monitor your accounts closely, freeze your credit, and use credit cards rather than debit cards for online purchases when possible. Turning to preparedness, there is rising awareness of the risks posed by a communication blackout. The heavy reliance on smartphones and digital tools can hinder survival and safety during disasters or power outages when networks fail. Experts recommend developing offline communication plans, investing in battery-powered or hand-crank radios, and maintaining a digital survival library with essential information accessible without internet connectivity. In other news, air travelers face worsening conditions amid the Homeland Security shutdown. The departure of hundreds of TSA officers has created severe staffing shortages at airports, causing long delays and cancellations, especially in the international terminal. Travelers are urged to check with their airlines and airports for the latest travel advisories to avoid disruptions. Also of concern, there has been an increase in possible terrorism-related shootings across the United States since the onset of the war in Iran. Recent incidents in Texas, Virginia, and Michigan are under federal investigation as potential acts of terrorism or hate crimes. Authorities recommend heightened security in public venues, community outreach to prevent violence, and continued vigilance in monitoring emerging threats. Lastly, protest and civil unrest remain a significant risk, with many large-scale demonstrations ongoing across the nation. There has been an uptick in anti-ICE and anti-war protests. Citizens are urged to stay alert, be aware of surroundings and exits in public spaces, and report any suspicious activities to local authorities and the Reassess team. Now for the weather. An unusually early heat wave is intensifying across the western U.S. and expanding into the Great Plains, with numerous record highs expected and critical fire weather conditions due to gusty winds and dry conditions in parts of the high plains. Meanwhile, sub-freezing temperatures this morning near the eastern Gulf Coast will moderate, and wet weather with light snow is moving through the Midwest, followed by a wintry mix in the Great Lakes over the next few days. Additionally, a moderate geomagnetic storm watch is in effect for March the 19th due to coronal mass ejections from the sun. Looking ahead on the AmCon calendar, this weekend on March 21st, the Central Alabama Monthly Training Meeting will be held in Valley, Alabama, focusing on security and defense, with Michael Lott instructing. Members in the area are encouraged to attend. Members can access the American Contingency Members Only site to get the full report and more in-depth analysis of today's stories, along with practical preparedness tips, training opportunities, and resources to help you, your family, and your neighborhood stay crisis ready.
This week, we've been following the events in the Johnson backyard, and it is still tense. Ryan has pressure firmly on his arm now, and the bleeding has slowed down. Emily is steadying Ethan, asking him some simple questions, and the neighbor's still laying over there yelling, clutching his ankle, breathing hard but alert. Sirens have been called, but they're not here yet. So now comes the moment that separates chaos from control. Reassessment. Emily takes one deliberate breath, scans the scene, and checks out who's breathing normally, who's bleeding, who's responsive, who's deteriorating. Triage is not a one-time decision. It's a loop. Scan, decide, act. Or, as Jocko says, take a breath, look around, make a call. The most dangerous mistake in a multi-person incident is locking onto the first problem and failing to reevaluate, or getting tunnel vision on the first problem. Rapid assessment follows observable markers. Massive bleeding, airway compromise, altered consciousness, signs of shock. Massive bleeding is obvious. Bright red, continuous, soaking clothing, got to stop that. Airway problems are usually heard before they're seen. Choking, gasping, silence where there should be sound. Altered consciousness appears as confusion, or maybe an inability to answer some simple questions, or just drifting focus. Shock shows up as pale skin, rapid breathing, weakness, cool, clammy kind of hands. So Emily checks Ethan's pupils briefly with just the sunlight. Nothing special. Everything's equal. He's fine. He answers his name, knows where he is. Ryan's bleeding is now controlled with some sustained pressure. And the neighbor's ankle is painful, but circulation remains intact. There's no discoloration of his foot or anything. Nothing has escalated, and that matters. Triage is about preventing deterioration. It's not dramatic heroics. It is disciplined reassessment rapidly, every 30 to 60 seconds until a higher level of care arrives, at least as often as possible. Prepared households understand that calm observation is a skill. It's something you have to practice, and skills are practiced before they're needed. So today, I want you to practice a 30-second scan in your own environment. Who's present? What would you check first if something happened right now? Tomorrow we'll expand triage beyond injury into multiple simultaneous problems that compete for your attention and what to do about it. Thanks as always for listening to the ReadyCore Daily Brief. If you're already a member, make sure to check out today's resources on the members platform. And if you're not a member, head over to readycore.net to join the network and start building your resilience today. I'm Tom Rigsby. Stay alert, stay ready, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.